I'm Tuna. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining, and welcome to my presentation and my speech about energy transition. So, my name is Tuna Akar. I'm from Istanbul. I'm located in, I was born in Istanbul, and actually a high school student uh, in Istanbul, in Cağaloğlu Anatolian High School, and I am the founding president and the current president, of course, of association, an international association called Young Energy Association. And in our association, we're doing a multidisciplinary research about energy transition, energy laws, and energy diplomacy, and etc. And let me start then. So our my presentation is about energy transition, named from centralized coal to distributed grids. I think it will be like 30 minutes long to make sure that the presentation is not boring, a deep dive for the next generation of energy leaders. We will be talking about global comparisons, some of the examples from some of international policies that some countries make, for example, Germany and Chile, and a case study from Turkey. So our 30-minute journey will be starting with why now, why we should act now rather than tomorrow, which is a really important matter to talk about the global energy crisis and climate emergency. And then we will be moving with what is energy transition, the definition of energy transition, the scope and common misconceptions about energy transition. Then we will be moving with the global landscape, some data from International Energy Agency, some leading countries, and the international targets. And then, as I said, a deep dive to Turkey's policies, a current mix in challenges, opportunities, and scenarios. And fifth, and the most important for me, will be the how you can lead change, the STEM careers, innovation pathways, and next steps. So, the burning question, why does energy transition matter right now, and why we should act now rather than tomorrow? The answer is simple, because we don't have time. We have to act fast. We have to act now rather than tomorrow. We've nearly breached our Paris Agreement limit. To whom that doesn't know anything about what Paris Agreement is. So the Paris Agreement is a treaty that has been signed in COP21 in 2015 in Paris. The main reason they have signed this, what is Paris Agreement, is its primary goal is to limit global average temperature increases to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, while actively pursuing efforts to cap the increase at 1.5 degrees. But it's nearly breaching, and the scientists are now saying in 6 years we're going to be breaching this limit. So we will be fail. The Paris Agreement will fail. So as you can see, we don't have that much of time. The global carbon dioxide emissions in 2023 was 36.8 gigatons. And also, we have a lot of investments. We have a lot of important opportunities, like the global institutions are now giving and doing some investments. And also, like multinational companies are now looking for opportunities in global clean energy investments. So we have opportunities in the sector, in the energy transition, to make it happen. And we have a deadline, actually, for countries' climate targets. A lot of countries' climate targets for the first step of energy transition is 2030. So what is energy transition that we've been talking about? Energy transition basically means switching from fossil fuels to clean, renewable energy sources. But not just a new fuel, not just a matter, but a whole new way of producing, whole new way of moving and managing energy, being supply shifts from coal and gas to solar, wind, hydro, or geothermal, and grid modernization, which is a really, really important matter that we will be discussing and I will be explaining in Turkey's also case study. So from passive wires and the centralized system to a more of a local system and intelligent, flexible, bidirectional networks. And the system reform, of course, taking power taking the power of like selling the energy from monopolies and giving it to open markets and actually individuals as well. So let's talk about common misconceptions. First, just install solar panels and you're done. This is the first and one of the biggest misconceptions about energy transition. About solar panels, you need storage, grid upgrades, new rules, and flexible demand. It has to be done all together. It's, as I said, it's not about like new fuel. It's about producing, moving, and managing as a whole. So an immediate overnight switch is possible. It's unfortunately not. We have to be like planned. We have to plan the steps we're going to take. We have to have goals, and then we have to reach those goals. So it's a little bit of a slow process. Coal plants close step by step to protect workers and grids. There's some issues about it, about the coal plants itself. Yes, we want to do the energy transition. We want every country's national energy produce should consist from renewable energy sources. We hope everybody reaches it, but it's a slow planned process, as I said. Energy transition is not a technical engineering problem, not only a technical engineering problem. It's as much as about people, as much as about individuals. Also, workers and communities need support, needs investment also. And one size fits all global solution. No, every country needs its own plan based on geography and energy needs. So this is a really important thing that we should be focusing on, because yes, energy transition is an international matter, but every country has its right to have national policies because of their own geography, their own people, and their own energy needs, of course. So where's the world heading? As we can see, there's a 90% drop in solar photovoltaic costs since 2010. So technology is evolving, and it's in our favor. So, and renewable share of electricity is actually increasing in every country, every major country, as you can see in Turkey, in the United States of America, in China, in Germany, and 500 plus gigawatt solar is added in 2023 alone. So we are actually doing great achievements. We are actually making great steps, taking great steps. And as you can see in Dubai 2023, and 3,870 gigawatts of renewable capacities installed globally between 2010 and 2023 in 13 years. So let's talk about some international frameworks, agreements that shape national energy policies. As I've said before, one of the most important agreements or treaties that has been signed upon the climate matter was the Paris Agreement. 195 countries agreed to limit warming to 1.5 and 2 degrees Celsius between, and each country updates its climate targets every 5 years. But the bad thing is this agreement is soon to be failed. And we have a European Union Green Deal, Europe's roadmap to climate neutrality by 2050, new European Union, carbon tax on imports also will affect Turkey's exports from 2026, and it will also affect imports and exports for every country. And this is a really important national economy matter. So it also has to be regulated. We can do international policies, but we should also be focusing on national policies. It cannot contradict one to another. One shouldn't contradict another. And COP28, United Arab Emirates pledge, 163 countries pledged to triple renewable energy capacity and double energy efficiency by 2030. And lastly, international energy agencies net zero till 2050 roadmap. It's, as I said, global roadmap, no new fossil fuel projects from 2021, 90% global clean electricity by 2050. And I'm going to keep this short. Turkey's energy landscape in 2024. And by the way, Turkey has a great centralized coal energy system, energy grid system, and It's one of the countries that has not that much of a renewable energy. Like nationally, it's more based on unrenewable energy like coal and things like that. And we have a fossil fuel share of electricity of like 49%. And we will be talking about why we have that and what actions we can take to have a great case study. And coal capacity targeted for retirement by 2035 is 6 gigawatts, and it's third largest solar market in Europe. So, as I said, Turkey has a centralized coal model. There's two models of electricity, and we have a distributed renewable model, which is actually an opportunity for every country that uses centralized coal model rather than a more of a distributed, more of a renewable model. So centralized coal model is one way from plant to home, basically. It's a really centralized from somewhere to basically to home. But in distributed renewable model, we have a bi-directional power flow, which is being from home to grid, from grid to home. And the resilience is in centralized model is low. One failure or one bomb can affect everyone, the whole system, because it's centralized, it's not decentralized. But in distributed model, it has a great resilience. It has a really high resilience and many backup paths. So it's more safe. And in grid losses, you average you lose 10% in transmission in centralized model, but in local model, it's like 2 or 4% local distribution loss. In carbon is high carbon emission and almost no emission, of course, in the renewable model. And as I said, also it's not about institutions, it's also about individuals. Now we'll be talking about individuals because in centralized model, consumers just pays the bill, but in distributed renewable model, consumers produces and sells own power, like farmers or like anybody that has a villa or that has a big home that has a big roof that in the distributed renewable model they would have to have a power to sell their own electricity. It's more of a community based, and it's absolutely way more better for like the people. And in cost trending, prices rise and fall, and renewable model gets cheaper every year. So this is actually a great solution about energy transition, a really great policy example. So let's talk about how is the transition itself done. I mean, where do we start? Where do we finish? How do we make it happen? So firstly, of course, we would certainly have to create policies. Also, we have to have targets, like national climate goals, renewable energy laws, coal phase-out plans, and carbon pricing. The policies, like starting to create a policy, shape a policy, and then have a certain target. And then you would be moving step by step to your target. Then you would reach your targets if you have a really planned policy, because it takes time, as we said. After that, renewable build-out phase, you certainly do some solar and wind power auctions, rooftop solar support that I've mentioned before. Rooftop solar support, which actually puts individuals from being customer to producer, and more wind farms in geothermal, and grid modernization is more of a technological matter. Is smart electricity matters, smarter power lines, digital substations, and cyber security. As we have said here, the resilience, we said one failure, it may be even a cyber attack in centralized model, but in distributed model, it has more resilience because we have many backup paths. So it's a really important thing to talk about. Also cybersecurity. And storage and flexibility, of course, battery storage, pump hydro, flexible demand, EVs feeding power back, and hydrogen pilots. And one of the last steps to take is market reform and just transition is open electricity markets, rules for home power producers, individuals or farmers, as we said, and worker retraining and community energy. And here you can see Turkey's transition scenarios, what we are doing in our country. So in 2025, offshore wind power auction begins, first major coal plant retirement. So we should retire the coal plants, major coal plants. We are retiring our one of the biggest coal plants in Soma region. And 1 minute. Okay. Everything's good, right? You guys can hear me, right? Okay. And in 2028, big solar farms required to add battery storage, and then we will be moving with smart meter rollout complete in 20 million homes in 2035, coal phase out target 80. Hello, everyone. Sorry for, I think I'm disconnect. I was disconnected because of my internet. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. Let me just share the one. I think you guys can see it now. Yep. So here I'd like to present several successful examples of energy transition from around the world. Each country has followed a different strategy based on its geography, economy, and energy needs. These examples show that there is no single model for success. So in Germany is one of the global leaders, as you may know, in renewable energy through its Energiewende, or we can also say energy transition policy. Around 62% of its electricity now comes from renewable sources. One of Germany's biggest achievements is promoting community-owned wind and solar projects, which have created around 900,000 jobs while increasing public support for clean energy. And there's a main lesson that we can learn, which is about Germany. from Germany is that involving local communities in renewable energy can create both economic growth and public acceptance. And in Morocco, as you can see, has invested despite having limited fossil fuel resources. The Noor Solar Complex is one of the largest solar power plants in the world. Together with wind projects, Morocco aims to reach over 50% renewable electricity by 2030 and even export green electricity to Europe. And the main lesson to learn from here is Morocco shows that renewable energy can strengthen energy independence and create export opportunities. So it can strengthen the national economy. It can support the national economy and create more opportunities. And in Denmark is a pioneer in offshore wind energy. Today, wind and solar provide nearly 88% of its electricity generation. And Denmark has also become a global exporter of wind technology while achieving one of the highest levels of energy security in Europe, actually. And the Danish example proves that investing early in clean technology can create both industrial leadership and energy security. Moving on with Japan. And after the Fukushima nuclear accident in 2011, Japan significantly expanded, actually, the rooftop solar installations and introduced new regulations encouraging households to generate electricity. So Japan also helped consumers to become producers by putting individuals to the game. And the country also invested in battery storage systems to improve grid stability. And the main lesson to learn from here is the Japan demonstrates how a crisis can accelerate innovation and encourage decentralized energy production. And in Chile has become one of the world's cheapest producers of solar electricity, which is being less than $0.02 for a kilowatt. Thanks to exceptional sunlight in the Atacama Desert. Chile has become one of the world's cheapest producers of solar electricity, as I said, thanks to exceptional sunlight in the Atacama Desert. So as we can see from here, the national policies matter more than international policies because geography changes in every country. Chile has the Atacama Desert, but Turkey doesn't have an Atacama Desert. So Turkey or Germany has to have a different national energy policy regarding their geography itself. And also in Chile, renewable energy is now also helping power the country's important copper mining industry. So the industries mix. You use renewable energy to support copper mining, to have a bigger economy, to invest more in renewable energy, and etc. And India operates one of the world's largest renewable energy auction markets and has set an ambitious target of 500 gigawatts of renewable capacity by 2030. The country is also, by the way, expanding solar energy to electrify rural communities. So moving from centralized system to community-based system, as Germany did, and also as well as India did, is a crucial solution. It's a solution to a crucial problem. And in section 5, let's talk about how you can lead energy transition. Here are some of the examples of STEM skills, that are the engine of the clean energy shift. The electrical engineering, environmental science, economics, and policy, which I personally plan to study in near future. And we have computer science and AI, of course. We have AI in every sector, in every topic, every STEM matter topic. And material science and civil mechanical engineering, like offshore wind foundations, or in material science, you can help energy transition. You can lead energy transition by helping improving hydrogen storage, or producing next generation battery chemistries. And in electrical engineering, you can do that by designing smart grids, or environmental science, tracking environmental impact and carbon footprints. And in computer science, building energy management systems. Technologies on the horizon. Emerging innovations, your generation, our generation will commercialize. So solid state batteries is a new technology that we can talk about, which is it has a 3x energy density, 10 minutes charging, and game changer for EVs and grid storage. You have green hydrogen made using extra renewable electricity, helps clean up steel, shipping, and aviation. The green hydrogen is, as we said, it's a really great technology that we can use in transportation of the energy itself. Rather than using like a fossil fuels, we can use green hydrogen. And perovskite solar, potential 40% efficiency versus 23%. Silicon could halve the cost of solar. Again, airborne wind energy, small modular reactors, which small modular reactors are now a more of a national energy policy matter. And in a lot of countries, and also in Turkey as well, working on small modular reactors. And it's a really emerging matter, really like an emerging technology for every country to focus on if they want to reach the energy transition or make it happen. Small nuclear plants that give steady, clean power when renewables alone aren't enough. The question is no longer if world or Europe or Turkey transitions, but how fast and how fairly. First, study energy systems. The next decade needs 10 million plus new energy workers globally. And second, follow IRENA, International Energy Agency, and EMRA reports. Be the most informed person in the room. These are the things that what you can then actually engage with local communities. Energy justice starts with listening to call towns and build and innovate. The next breakthrough can come from this room. Key references on the further reading that you can do: Green Economy, World Energy Transitions Outlook, IRENA's UNFCCC NDC Registry Paris Agreement Tracker, Turkey's electricity market reports, if you want to do a case study, and also World Energy Outlook. And thanks for listening to me, guys. And now I'm down to actually answer to any kind of questions you guys have. Anyone? Okay, then I think we're done. The moderator?
Okay, so if we do not have any questions, we can go ahead and conclude the session. Thank you so much, Tuna, for your time. Thank you for being a part of SumQuest 4.0.
I want to thank everybody that took their time,
of course,
to join this session and listen to me, actually.